Hello, my name is Juan Pablo Rodriguez, and I'm doing these videos to teach my kids, Desiree, Pablo, and Miguel Angel, about financial literacy. When I went to school and as I was growing up, none of my teachers, school education, college, high school, elementary, or my parents taught me anything about money, with the exception of you go to work, they give you money for whatever amount of time that you negotiated for. They will pay you 1 hour for $10. And with that money, you go and you buy stuff, and that was as much as I learned from them. But as I grew up, more and more knowledge came to me about credit cards, interest rates, stocks, bonds, interest rates in the way for both ways, also for CDs. No, not music CDs, Pablo. CDs, which are certificates of deposit, which is money that you give to the bank. They give you an interest back on all those, on all that money. I already started rambling on. I'm sorry. All this is so I could help my kids, so as they grow older, they know how to negotiate for their houses, for their cars. Pablo, more than likely you're gonna get a motorcycle. Miguel Angel, more than likely a quad. Desiree, I don't know. You might get a tank. I don't know. It's up to you, baby girl. Sorry that I keep on looking down, but that's where I have my monitor. What else can I say? I need to stop the Okay, well, we'll start with the 4 quadrants. The 4 quadrants from Robert Kiyosaki in his book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which was one of the first ones that he did. He mentions these 4 quadrants. Yes, Pablo, we have talked about this before, but I'm going to show again to your brother and sister what we're talking about. E is for employees. S is for self-employed. Oops. B for business. I is for investing, or investor, we should say. Okay, so now you know what each stands for. Employee, that is basically anybody that has a duty to go to any job so they could get paid for the value that they negotiated with the business. The business could have told them, hey, for 1 hour of your time that you do what I want, I'm going to give you $10 or $20 or $50, whatever it is. Most of the time, the more college you went to and you're an employee, the more taxes they're going to take away from you. Example, lawyers, doctors. In the same aspect, the least amount of education that you have, the less they're going to take in taxes, but you're going to be there for a very long time. Let's say McDonald's. Nothing against McDonald's, it's an honest job and you get a lot of knowledge from it. They get paid about what, $10, $15 an hour type of thing. A doctor gets paid what, 100 or more an hour. But both, like I tell you, they get taxed because they're in this bracket. Now, this is where you get the biggest taxations, and you have to spend the most time doing it. If a doctor goes to the hospital, he's gonna have to spend his whole shift there, so they could pay him his whole shift. If he only works 4 hours, they only pay him 4 hours. Same thing with the person in McDonald's. If they only go for 4 hours, he only gets paid for 4 hours. If they don't go at all, they don't get paid nothing at all. So that's an employee. Self-employed individual, you got more leeway. You get not as much taxed as this one, and let's put a little less of an arrow. But you are probably going to be there longer on time because this is your business. Either you're doing a service or you're selling goods, whatever it is, you have to be there. If you don't go, no money. Quick example will be, let's say I start a lawn service and I have to go and cut 10 lawns. If I only cut 10 of them, I get paid for all 10. If I only cut 5 of them, I only get paid for 5. Self-employed has less taxes. You don't have a boss, except if you're married. But basically you set your time, you set how much you want to get paid, what you're going to be charging, what your profit's going to be, because you negotiate all the contracts, stuff like that. So you have more control of the business here. But you are the one that runs it. So if you don't go, no money. So this right here, all this is active. You have to be there so you could earn it. This side is when you start going to passive. Okay, a business. The difference between this one and this one is when you're producing your service or your product or anything you're doing in exchange for the profit, is that you have other people doing it for you. You have employees. Lawn care again. Instead of me going and doing all those 10 yards, if I go and I get, let's say, Paul, I get you, I get Joseph, I get Andres, I get Sarah, and I put every single one of you guys doing one different lawn, hey, that's where the business comes into. I'm gonna get taxed less. So taxes are less. The only time I have to be there is when I'm negotiating the price with the customer. And when I go and check that you guys did your job. So time is less. Okay, so the benefit of the business compared to self-employed is less taxes and less time being there. And to top it off, because I'm not there so much, I could create not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but as many businesses as I want. A real good example is this smart guy, what's his name? Elon Musk or Tusk or whatever his name is. The guy that invented Teslas. He has like about 4 or 5 different companies. Yes, all having to do with technology mostly, but he made as much as he wants. For goodness sakes, he even made PayPal. That's how I get paid. Well, one of the ways I get paid. Investor, this is my favorite one. Investor, basically, you're buying companies that, like Apple, AT&T, Verizon, let's just put the ticker. You're going into, let's say, Robinhood, or you go into Webull or M1 Finance, and you just see the price, you do your research, you see what company is profiting, you see what company is going to return you the most for your money, you buy it, and you just wait. The only time you spend there is the time on research and buying it. So time-wise, whoops, it's very little, so very little arrow. Taxes, it's also less. There's more into the taxation over here. I mean, there's a couple of laws that you could push it even further. If you're investing and they're qualified, it's a way smaller bracket, but that's something else. That's a different video. So going back to the same thing, and what I want to focus on, and so you guys can understand, is that I do not want you guys being over here. No, no, no. We're gonna figure a way to bring you guys over here, to make your own business and to start investing. Don't get me wrong, if you're an employee and you're self-employed, they're very respectable things that you do. No, nothing against them, but if you want to have money, you want to have wealth, you want to retire early, it's in this side. It's not on this side. This is my first video of many that I'm going to do for you guys. Again, if anybody else besides my kids are watching, I am not a financial expert. I am not certified in anything. I'm no guru. I am only teaching what I know and the mistakes that I've known, so my kids won't repeat them. Just doing this off the good of my heart, like they say. I believe in karma, so I'm trying to do something good so good could come back for me. That's it. I hope you had fun. I hope I didn't talk too much, and I'll try to make them more pleasant next time. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye, guys.